Welcome to the 2015 Bike and Pedestrian Count, brought to you by the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission, the City of Charlottesville, Albemarle County, University of Virginia, and our bike and pedestrian advocates in our area. This is one of 10 locations in the city, university, and on the fringe with Albemarle County that we will be counting in 2015, one in April and the other in September of this year. On the map, you will see this location as location number 5, Water Street and 2nd Street Southeast. This is a very important location, narrowed down and included in this list because it is one of the gateways to the downtown pedestrian mall. It is also a critical roadway and intersection in the downtown area where bike and pedestrian traffic is heavy. The intersection includes Water Street, which runs west to east, and also 2nd Street Southeast, which runs in a north-south fashion through the intersection. Again, to the north, we have the downtown mall. This is one of 2 crossings across the downtown pedestrian mall where vehicles can move across the mall. A few features of the intersection to get you more familiar. There are 3 crosswalks, 2 on Water Street, 1 on 2nd Street Southeast. The crosswalk to the east includes an LED system to help improve safety for pedestrians. There's also a bike rack just south of the intersection. You may, when you're out here counting, notice a lot of cyclists using this rack. Just make sure to not count any cyclists in this area, but only count cyclists that move through the intersection. Also, just notice that one of the sidewalks is closed. This is associated with the renovation of the theater downtown. This should not affect the number of pedestrians that move through this intersection, but you'll notice that pedestrians may be using the eastern sidewalk on 2nd Street. Here's just another picture of the intersection. Looking southwest, in the center of the picture, you will see Monoloco Restaurant, and you can see all the crosswalks and pedestrian facilities that go through this area. When conducting the count, we will be counting pedestrians, and that is just the number of pedestrians, and we will be including or counting the number and the movement of cyclists through the area, how cyclists are moving through the intersection. So for cyclists, we'll be looking at what turns they are making, whether they're going straight through the intersection, trying to collect as much information as we can. This diagram will be on the form for recording the bicycle count and movement through the intersection. Just as an example of how you would use this form, say a cyclist were moving down Water Street, heading east, and turning onto 2nd Street Southeast to the south. You would mark 1 on the table showing that movement of where the cyclists were coming from. So you can see that in the D3 box. If a cyclist were moving through the intersection on Water Street, heading west, you would look at the box labeled B2, shown to the right, with the arrow that indicates a cyclist moving through the intersection. So in this case, you would mark 1 under that B2 box. So this is really set up to show the number of cyclists that are going to pass through the intersection. And the little arrows in the diagram will indicate which direction that cyclist is turning. Keep in mind that we're counting the number of people on bicycles, not the number of bicycles. So for example, on the left you'll see a picture where 2 individuals are on a bicycle. That will count as 2. On the right you'll see a bicycle with 5 individuals, including an infant, so that will count as 5. Also, the counts will include cyclists who ride on the sidewalk. We're getting the total number, so even cyclists on the sidewalk are counted in this count. When recording pedestrians, it's much simpler. Rather than recording movements, you're just going to record the number. So again, if a pedestrian were walking down the sidewalk and turned onto 2nd Street from Water Street, you would just count that as a 1 on the table to the right of the form. And also crossing any other direction or however they cross through the intersection, we would just count each pedestrian as 1. Any pedestrians in wheelchairs or using other assisted devices, we still obviously count as pedestrians. Also, children and strollers, we also count them as pedestrians as well. We're counting the total number of people moving through the intersection. If the individual is on a skateboard or using rollerblades, we would list that as other on the form. So just make sure to include that under an other on the form. For volunteers who signed up early, we're going to mail the count instructions, a map, and the forms to each volunteer. If any volunteers would like to borrow a clipboard, they can come to the TJPDC offices. Also make sure to bring a pen and pencil, maybe a few pens and pencils just in case a pen or a pencil were broken. Also, we're going to pass out business cards for the project manager in case anyone who notices you counting, if they have questions, you can provide them with this business card so you can focus on your counts. Also make sure to bring sunscreen, snacks, water, and a watch or a cell phone where you can track time. The counts we'll be doing in 15-minute increments. So every 15 minutes, you're going to start a new form so that we can get very detailed information on time of how many pedestrians are moving through the intersection at any given time. Other tips, make sure to get there 15 minutes early if you can. This will give you time to get situated and find the best location for you to do your counts. Also, just make sure that you feel safe while you're doing these counts. Safety is our #1 priority. If you do not feel safe at any time, please stop counting and get to where you feel safe. For more information, please go to the website shown here. Also, the TJPDC offices are located at 401 East Water Street. You can go there to get more information and also borrow clipboards. And the project manager is Will Cockrell, and you can contact him for more information or for questions. Thanks for volunteering. We really appreciate it. This is a very important effort for us, and we want to make sure that we have this data so that we can improve bike and pedestrian facilities in our community and make it a more bike and pedestrian friendly place. Thank you.